Yeah, Hans is actually playing so well.
I agree.
Clutch performance by Hans.
He has played excellent this game.
A near masterclass.
There is not a single chess fan that would have predicted Levon Aronian in the final of the freestyle chess against the man with the power, Mr. Nan's He-Man. Where did this come from? They woke the Mokey Bear, you're getting smoked. Go Moke, go broke. Please help me out here. He's gone all the way to the final. Chess World's reeling, and this is how he did it. His opponent, cool AF, that's cool as Fabi. He's got the greatest hair in chess, or it's up there. Hikaru even vacations there. It's such a great big throw. Now let's jump to some chess. Fabi's world number 3. Hans is now knocking on the door of these guys, plus he's a blitz beast. They got 10 minutes each because they had 3 draws in a row, so they're into a tie-break stage. Winner of this wins the whole thing, and yes, the Moke takes it. Watch what he does. The guys in the studio just purring over this positional dominance here. With white is Fabi. The bishop here in the centre is kind of nasty, not easy to develop. Knight in the corner, horrible. Best way to play, according to the all-powerful engine, is this, closely followed by this. But Fabi does this, watch the bar, pawn f4. Look at the drop of Ival Barovic. Black half a pawn better already. We see this from Hans Niemann, and watch the kind of thing he goes for. First, don't blunder your pawn. Defended. Now we see pawn c4, explosive, but after it's covered with d6, opening some pieces, Fabi now gets it wrong. He should get some of his bits out. That's what you're taught to do from a young age at the chessboard. But he does this, pushing pawns, and he's breaking opening principles. Niemann carries on developing with a nay and a winnie, and if you play the natural knight f3, then there's this. You can stream out and hit the rook. The engine wants this, but who does that? Ruin their castling rights. It's really uncomfortable. Maybe you do this and this in a minute. Anyway, not played. Let's run back. Instead, pawn h3. What a disgusting move. That's 4 pawn pushes. It just gets worse. Niemann piles on the pressure with the battery. So g4. We all love pushing Gary the debt collector down the board, but there's a time and a place. You have to earn his presence. Don't worry if you've had a drink. We see this crazy castles too. Niemann keeping his coach proud. Move 6. He's got a safe king. Pawn d3. 6th pawn move in the first 7 moves, and now Niemann just takes the gauntlet, the fight to Fabi, however you say it. h5, peeling open the position. Fabi should take here. Why? You open the black h file. Now at least after you stack the bishops up, if black were to dare take this pawn like we see in the game, wham, big counter attack here. So that was the way to go with takes. Not played. Fabi glides on by, but Niemann now can bring the fight to Fabi, does not move the knight, plays the epic, bishop takes on h3, and this takes some calculation, but he didn't calculate, he's just speeding through, playing on intuition, because what if takes, and you take the rook? Yes, white can take here now, black moves here, but what if queen e3, covering the flight square of the bishop? It's a trapped piece. Well, this is actually good for black. Line can proceed like this. Sure, you can win the bishop soon, but it takes here. Exposes the king. The rook's double. This is great for black. One sample line. The black piece is swarming. The one rook is better than the 2 minor pieces here. Plus, you've got some pawns for it. But you had to see all that. Somehow Niemann did. So rook e1 was played. We didn't see takes going down that line. Now we see knight e8. Gonna remaneuver soon. Knight takes on h3 played. Queen recaptures, and Fabi gets that knight in the corner out. Is there anything forlorner? The c pawn advances. Now we see bishop f3. Fabi whispers, stack my bishop, and the queen runs away with her chips. She doesn't want to get caught by security. Here comes one of them here, and Fabi's big plan here is to attack and checkmate. think some kind of sack, some kind of pawn push at the right moment. So Niemann fighting back with knight a4. Watch what he's got in mind. Queen c2 develops a little, and now this knight rotates back into the game, supporting pawn pushes, and Fabi's like, anything you can do stinky, I can do stinkier. You shouldn't put your knights on the edge, right? They're real wiener schnitzels over there, but he is hitting a pawn, trying to randomize. So this one's played. Lateral defense now, plus it looks at this square sometimes. So obviously you set up the elongated bathtub. Beautiful slip and slide going on at the end here. Magnus currently holding the record, by the way, for the wettest Grandmaster t-shirt. They love it, the chess guys. Now this rook hits the game, attacks the queen. So obviously you do this in response. What's it called?
It's called the bong cloud. Yeah.
Now we see b5, going for the throat, Niemann roaring away, and after takes, you've created a square. Rook recaptures, hang on a minute, can't you take here? Well, no, you run into this whoopsies. It's uh-oh carbonara, queen drops off the board, that's all she wrote. So after rook takes on b5, no captures, the knight rotates back, now you are threatening to take. Same tactic wouldn't work, because you'd recapture with the knight, support your queen here. So in the game, Niemann now drops back with knight b6. He played this move so quick. Look at the clock times, 5:58, now 6:07. They get 10 seconds a move. So he spent 1 second on that move. He's like 4 minutes up on the clock on Fabi or something. You know, you're not trapping the rook now. This has to be calculated. Rook b4, but then bishop e1. How are you getting away with this? Well, there's this. Hang on, can't you remove the defender? Well, no, you're fine. Queen defends. But this all has to be calculated. Niemann's somehow seeing it all. Now we see b3. He's like a lethal, younger version of Jan Nepomniachtchi right now, bringing that clock pressure. Takes, rook recaptures here, and after bishop g3, maybe hinting at e4, not sure. We now see this remaneuver, heading for f5, going play e4. I dare ya. Knight just bounces back, and look at that for a juicy Lucy square. So let's run back here. King f1 was played, one of the most horrible king walks you're about to see. Everything's attacked, defended now, and how do you explode the position further? On the dark squares, here comes Daenerys guiding her trio of dragons down the board. Simple positional idea, let's take, pawn takes, again you freed up the square. So that's why Fabi captures. Now we see bishop takes back. Queen d2, desperate to cover dark squares, but d4.
I mean, d4 move, it just wouldn't even cross my mind.
Absolutely explosive move there. And after this one glides past, I mean, Fabi's got 99 problems and a bishop's one right now. He goes knight g7. This time he's remaneuvering in this direction, opens the queen possibly. Now bishop g2, Fabi going for some tactics down here, and there's this crazy c4 move. I'm not going to go into it all. Knight e6 always playable to block the bishop's attack, but in the game, the practical rook f8. Played quick. Look at the clock times now, 6 minutes ahead. This is a pummeling. Now we see h3 played, or bishop h3. Don't blunder your queen. Rook g1 covers dark squares. Bishop f4 anyway. Don't blunder your queen. Now this one blockades. It's a dominant performance here as the king keeps running. You could take a pawn, right? Here Hans isn't even interested. Rotates the knight. Now the king dives into the corner and the pawn drops like this. Bishop f1. I mean, that is not fun to play. Fabi wants the ground to swallow him up. The rook runs into the game here, and Niemann's on a side quest. Rook b2 played, and king g7. Every single piece of his on a dark square. He only goes and wins himself another hug. Another hug from three-armed Magnus Carlsen. It's no wonder the guy's so good at chess. He can press the clock, push the pieces, and hydrate at the same time, and boy does he give a firm embrace. How did the game proceed from here? Rook c2 was played, but h4 cranks open the position. Suddenly the king wishes it wasn't there, wants to be here. If you now take, the rook attacks, the rook lifts to defend, but bishop g3 is a cute little tactic. You could take, but queen takes, you're still in a world of pain. If you tried this, I guess this is the problem. That's dropping now, undefended. So in the game, after h4, we get this little rook lift. Fabi whispers it. He's in great shape. Now we see bishop e3, real bone in the throat, and same tactical problems. If takes and queen takes, you drop a bishop. If you don't take it, of course you have to live with a monster pawn. So in the game, we saw bishop takes on h4, Fabi bites the bullet, but now rook h8, king g2. Can he possibly get away with bouncing back? No luck. Can you guess the brilliancy that Niemann played in this position? He plays the move of rook takes on h4. Rook recaptures, crowd's going wild here, and after the knight jumps, all the pieces swarming, this rook has to stay on the 8 file. Has? Too much bomb cloud stuff, because you cover the checkmating square here. So rook h3 was therefore played. You could check now. It's the cleanest kill, but Niemann's playing with his food here. Goes knight g5, not the best, because now white can sack an exchange. Fabi should have gone for it. Someone like Magnus, you can imagine, would instantly do that, but he's languishing in the losers bracket. Now we see rook g3 played, knight e6 back, and look where it's headed. Forktown, population, Fabi. Queen g4 therefore played. Now rook f4 hits the queen, and how miserable is this? Going back to the starting square, some speculate that Fabi's just setting up for the next game of regular chess. He's so despairing. We see this rook hits the h-file here. Rook f2, please take it, please relieve the pressure. Niemann doesn't even do it. Checks like this. This is a special game. Now we see bishop takes, winning back the exchange. Opposite colour bishops, but no luck for a draw. The attack is too brutal. King goes, takes, bishop takes, and this was the final move of the game.
Chess speaks for mushrooms.
Mate in 1 is threatened, and if you defend it like this, well, the bishop just drops, of course. Soon leads to a mate, you know, king g1. Where's the kill? Bishop e3. Can't do anything but give up your queen, and here would be the checkmating move. You know, do what you will. Here, a mate. Here, and what would we do? How's the quickest way? e2, push, queen. What a game by Hans Niemann. Final position here, and he goes through to the finals to play Levon Aronian for the Freestyle Chess Champion in Las Vegas. Can't wait for that one. Hope you enjoyed this. Smash subscribe if you did, and have a look at the video on screen if you want to see a classic game between Niemann and Hikaru from the Speed Chess Championship last year. Thanks very much for watching, and see you soon. Cheers.